Ladies and gentlemen, Raphael and Kate.
Thank you so much.
From Germany.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Live with the Shaman. We are live here every Sunday that we can. There are those that we miss due to holidays or whatever, but we do make it eventually, occasionally, for the most part. So, hoping everyone is doing well, had a good holiday season. Um, this will be our last broadcast of 2018. Wow. Hard as hell to believe that it is already 2019. That's that is wicked amazing. Of course, it's kind of funny. Um, back, I know when I was, Facebook has been grouchy all morning. In between shows, in between Open Pagan Church and Live with Shaman, I had to log off and log back on my computer because I was attacked by digital gremlins this morning. Anything that was digital that could messed up. Go figure. Anyway, I remember when I was younger, um, we were talking about, the year 2000, what would happen, and then 2020. The year 2020 is just around the corner, so to speak. Hmm, interesting. kind of brings one to think, doesn't it? Where we've been, what we're doing, where we're going. And that kind of leads us off right off into our topic. If you'll remember, we've been doing a series the latter part of 2018 on breaking down the tradition of the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. And I have said repeatedly, and will continue to say, that the Grove of the Celtic Shaman does not um, attempt to say that this is what all shaman groves do. This is the way all shaman groves should strive to live. It's not my task, that's not my business, that's not my intent. My intent, though, in developing the Grove of the Celtic Shaman back in 99 or 2000, the people that have come to this grove for training, they've come in as friends, they've come in as brothers and sisters. Many of them have left as brothers and sisters. Many of them have left as good friends. Some have left as not so good friends, if you will. The Grove of the Celtic Shaman has a zero toleration of drama, bullshit, backstabbing, and crap. Again, anybody listening to our channel, listening to our broadcast knows we are an adult-based organization. We're an adult-based grove, and this is an adult-based channel. Thereby, there might be some offensive language. But, oh well. So, this morning, we're going to be talking about what is in the training of a master. What the hell is a master? Why does the Grove of the Celtic Shaman have a master? Well, the term Master Shaman is only recognized in the grove. Other groves of shamans that I have seen through the years, which have not been many. Most shamans are solitaire. Many want to do their own thing. Many don't want to be jacked with by society, other people, or other institutions, as it were. So back in 2000, we formed the Grove of the Celtic Shaman for those people who are shaman, who want to learn in a group or a grove situation, and who need discipline. I'm not talking about the discipline of a 5-year-old, the discipline of a 10-year-old, or the discipline of a child. I'm talking about people like myself and a few others that need direction. If you spin us around real quick in a bucket, we're going to come out of that bucket dizzy, and we're not going to have any idea which way is up. So we wrote the tradition, we inaugurated the tradition, we voted it in. It's had 2 or 3 rewrites, and it has an update coming. It's not going to be a complete rewrite. We were going to try to get it done before the end of the year, but guess what? That did not happen. So I've only ever seen the term Master Shaman in the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. I don't know if it exists in other traditions of shamanism. I've scoured the internet, looked around, been to many different circles, traveled around to Native American style shamanism. I have looked heavily into Siberian shaman, which is where the word shaman came from, was Siberia. And those of us that walk within and follow the tradition of the grove, we fit, but we don't fit into a whole lot of different molds. So, to be recognized as a master of the grove is to simply be recognized as you've put in your time. The average recognition of a master in the grove is 10 years or more. We've had some that have made it prior to their tenure, but we have three masters of the grove. That's myself, Cindy, and Clint. We are, at the present moment, the three masters of the grove. Now, there is a master shaman that is a sister of the grove, and that's Debbie. She lives in Scotland. She is recognized by everyone in the grove as a master shaman, though not um, oathed within the tradition. She's one of those that is solitaire. Gonna be solitaire, wants to be solitaire, will always be solitaire. And that's fine. You don't have to be oathed to the tradition to be recognized as whatever level you are. But you do have to earn that respect. In the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, respect is earned, not given. Respect is expected and earned. That might kind of sound redundant, paradoxical, or crazy. Well, welcome to the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. We're all just slightly twisted. So essentially what we're going to do this morning, or today, depending on what time you're watching, tonight, whatever, is we're going to be talking about what the expectations of a master. And if you are looking for where to download the tradition, you can search Facebook for either Live with the Shaman or the Open GCS, or you can simply post or send any of us a message, and we'll be glad to send you the link to the Open Grove of the Celtic Shaman page. The only thing I'm going to ask for those of you that watch our broadcast, respect. We're perfectly fine with you disagreeing. We're perfectly fine with you saying, I disagree with that. Tell me why. Tell us why. We're always wanting to learn. So, as always, depending on the length of the broadcast will depend on how much interaction I get live in the channel. So without further ado, let's flip on over to the tradition and let's take a look. Excuse me. Something you're going to notice right off the top, and I've covered this before, and that is this section right here. None of us are above reproach. None of us are above reproach because none of us are above being questioned. None of us are above being questioned. Why are you doing that? My students have had the freedom from day one to ask me, why are you doing that? And here we go. You'll notice expectations of an apprentice master. Now let's talk about this for a minute. Expectations of apprentice master. How do you know you're an apprentice master? You don't. As a high priest, now you've been going through your training as a master. You've been going through your training as a master from day one. From day one of your oath of a priest, and I say that priest or priestess, but as a priest of the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, if you decided to stay in the tradition and maintain a teacher, then your training as a master has continued as you've gone on. You become an apprentice master shortly after your rank as a high priest. Your apprentice master starts almost immediately. And a lot of people don't know that, and that's perfectly fine. It's not written anywhere. But it has tended to be the typical standard norm of a master of the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. Your training never ends. So you need to understand that. In this next couple of pages, we're going to be talking about what are your expectations of an apprentice? Well, they're not a whole lot different of that of a high priest, right? No time span is given to each to reach this rank. Not everyone seeks to achieve this rank. Your time in the grove has obviously been well spent. This title is not taken lightly. So, essentially, if you haven't actually read the tradition and you've only skimmed over it, you probably didn't even notice this segment because it's all the way down in page 18 of the tradition. So, this right here, please be reminded this rank can only be offered to you by the master once you have proven your worth before the council and triad. Now, what that means is myself and the other masters of the grove will come together and we will discuss up and coming masters. When Clint made his master a couple of years back, Cindy and I spent much time communicating and conversating about, and I also spoke with other high priests and high priestesses in the grove at the time, and Clint proved himself honorable as a master of the grove. Now, that being said, please keep in mind, excuse me, you, me, no one in this grove is above reproach. Now, shamans have a history, myself included, shamans have a history of getting a case of the big head. And again, this tradition describes and dictates to us that are oath to it how we grow through our path. It is not required that all shamans feel this way or practice this way. However, one of the things that I have noticed, one of the things that I have noticed above and below all is shamans get the big head. We do. It's just something that we do. It's something that we are. Shamans get a case of the big head. They have temper issues. They have anger issues. And we strive to learn through that. Well, as you're working your path up to your master, the only way you would achieve a master within the grove is if you have followed the traditional teaching of this booklet. An outside shaman very seldom, hardly ever, will be recognized as a master within the grove of the Celtic shaman if they decide to come in, and you will not come in as a priest of the grove of the Celtic shaman without first going through your first year. I don't care how many years you've been trained or lived as a shaman. You're going to start out in kindergarten just like everybody else. And that has tended to piss a few people off through the years. I've had people come to me and say, well, I grew up a shaman. I grew up on the reservation. I grew up doing this. I grew up doing that. I think this individual was in their 40s. And they're like, I'm 40 something years old. I've been doing this my whole life. I'm not going to go back to a first year. Then you're not going to join the GCS by oath. You're welcome to stand in our circle. You're welcome to earn the respect of whatever rank you are. But you're crazy as hell if you think I'm going to let you or any of us, myself, Clint, Cindy, Lucy, Sabrina, any of the upper level ranks within the GCS, you're out of your effing mind if you think we're going to just let you waltz in as an oath priest or priestess without going through the training of the grove. So, if those of you that are watching our pre-recorded broadcast later, that offends you, oh well. If you don't like it, oh well. It is what it is. And I will tell you, we do not ever consider ourselves above any other shamanic or pagan organization out there. We are humble and we humble all. But we have our rules. We follow those rules. And within the grove, we bend them and tweak them just a little bit. However, there's something you must understand. And I have a master that is having to re-go through some of his training at the moment because he got a little... I told you, we all do it. And not a single one of us are above reproach. Any one of us in the grove from a first year all the way up to a master can call down a master done with respect and say, are you sure that's within tradition? I've had my first years come to me and say, Don, I don't want to be argumentative, and all due respect, but are you sure that's within tradition? And it has slowed me down, yanked a proverbial knot in my proverbial ass, and made me stop and realize none of us are above reproach. Now, the first thing that I kind of look at, and I'm going to kind of skip through some of these. You'll notice I put up very first line, good luck. The first thing I wanted to put right here was good fucking luck. But I figured I'd be nice because I figured there would be young people reading the tradition, and well, I wanted to kind of sort of be politically correct, if not just a little bit. Understand that first line, ladies and gentlemen. Once you take the oath as a master of the grove of the Celtic shaman, you now belong to the triad and to the tradition. Now, let's not take this out of context. I've gotten some slack for this first line here. You now belong to the triad and the tradition. Understand something. No one belongs to anyone or anything. The expectations of a master of the grove are far more and above that of any other rank within the grove. And as long as you're oathed to that tradition, most especially as a master, you're expected to conduct yourself accordingly. And if you don't think a master can be kicked out of the grove, you've got another thing coming. The interesting part is this paragraph right here. I will let you guys read that is highlighted. People that are not discipline oriented. People that buck discipline, people that are not discipline oriented, tend to kind of flip the finger at the Grove of the Celtic Shaman because it is no nonsense. It just says it as it is. Now, in chat right now is a brother master shaman, Sean, who is a brother master shaman. I have known his teacher well, though unfortunately he is not with us at the moment. But Sean many times has proven himself as a master shaman. Also in chat right now is High Priestess Sabrina, who, bless her heart, has been through hell. Master Shaman Clint of the Grove of the Celtic Shaman is in chat. And I think, nope, I haven't seen Cindy yet. I've not seen Cindy yet. Cindy is ranking master right under me of the Grove. She was the first master of the Grove that oathed in, bless her heart. Clint followed. Sabrina is in training. Poor Sabrina's always in training. Hell, I'm always in training. And my first year, who's training for her priesthood, isn't with us this morning. She's been having some health issues. We need to send all of our energy to her. Those of you that are active in the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, you're going to know who I'm talking about. So we need to send all of our healing energies to her for sure. But, and you know, we talk about all of this discipline. And we talk about the things that can get you removed from the Grove. We talk about trials. We talk about once a master, always a master. Only the triad can fire you. Well, don't mistake me. You're free to denounce the Grove of the Celtic Shaman anytime. Have a good day, Dave. And Dave is respected as a shaman. I don't know what rank. I've never met him personally. He's a good man. But he's recognized as a full shaman within the Grove. But I mean, you're welcome to denounce, disown, disassociate, piss off from the Grove of the Celtic Shaman anytime you want. The oath that you've taken to the triad, the oath that you've taken to the council for the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, that's a spiritual oath that you took of your own heart. The Grove of the Celtic Shaman is not going to hold you to a damn thing if you decide to bugger off. Now, if you decide to just disappear, just fuck off, so to speak. You know, you're not going to say anything to anybody. You're just, you're going to work your way up to the priesthood, the high priest, master, or whatever, and then you're just going to bugger off and piss off. I will try. The other masters of the Grove will try 2 or 3 times to reach out to you and say, hey, are you okay? Is everything going all right? What's going on? You're not active. And If we are ignored, then I will simply light a single candle and turn it over to the triad and wash my hands of it because I don't deal with drama. I'm not going to chase somebody. None of us are going to chase anybody. If we have a student that goes rogue, as we do, right? My first years make senior students, they usually disappear for 3 or 4 months and I don't hear from them. Gone. Poof. But every once in a while they'll drop a little line, hey, I'm still alive, I'm just doing my own thing right now. Okay. Alright. I still see you're out there in the astrals, no big deal. But one of the things you have to understand, much like with life, okay? With life, trials from this point on are never ending. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as this goes not just for a master, but this goes for everybody. Every human being on the planet, trials are never ending. And like I said, once you're a master, yeah, okay, you can piss off out of the grove, but unless you just completely, totally dishonor the grove, we're always going to respect you as a master. We'll respect you as a master shaman. Your say so in the grove will go down the toilet, though we're known to ask your opinion. Welcome to the paradox of Grove of the Celtic Shaman. A lot of people don't get it. So, let's think about this line here, shall we? You may not ever make Master of the Grove. At one point, we figured there would be one Master of the Grove, and upon that Master's death, the oldest ranking high priest would then step up. And this is the reason, one of the big reasons why this tradition needs to be updated. That paragraph right there has since changed 2 or 3 times to meet with the times. So this line right here, though you might never make master unless the present master dies, meaning yours truly, the founder of the Grove, we found that to be unfair. And we found it to be unjust in the fact that there are a number of people coming up through the ranks that are masters in their own right. Their thought processes, the way they act, the way they treat people within the grove, the way they work within each other and other people have proven themselves masters. So we've kind of gone past that. Now, here's your expectation. There's no real time limit, somewhere between 8 and 10 years from the dedication date. Now, what that means is from your dedication date as a first year. So even though you're not an actual oathed member of the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, if your teacher is an active oathed member of the Celtic Shaman, then your time span goes from the date that you were oathed as a first year. So if you were a first year for 5 or 6 years and then you were a priest, you just, because of life, you just didn't make priest one way or the other. Or you were a priest or a high priest for 5 or 6 years. If you've been in the Grove all total 8 to 10 years and you've made the high priest, you've been the high priest for a while, you've proven yourself, then these are the things that you are more or less expected. This is this is your oath. This is your oath that you take as a master. And I'm going to see if I can get this in here and get it all highlighted. This is the oath that you take as a master. And I'm going to leave that sit for a minute. I realize that you know, those of you watching the pre-recorded program can pause it and read it, but I want to be sure it's there so that everybody can see it, so that people don't think I'm just breathing, you know, breezing through it. And I'm not going to go through it line by line. I'm not going to go through it. Um, I'm not going to go through each and every oath that is required of a master. But I can tell you 2 or 3 times a year, I do go over to page 20 of the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, and I reread this to more or less reaffirm, get a affirmation in my own mind what exactly it is I am supposed to be doing. Because I promise you, sometimes your expectations of self Clint, that file is uploaded, sir. It is in the Open Grove of the Celtic Shaman, called The Tradition. Can't believe you just asked that. Consider yourself metaphysically whacked. Really, upload that file. Anyway, I'm gonna pretend I didn't read that. And a note from myself. I will reread this 3 or 4 times and meditate on it and see if there's any of this that is outdated, dilapidated, or needs to be changed or rewritten, redone, whatever. I want to try to keep the tradition 20 pages or less if possible. There's no sense in having a freaking book for people to read. This is the one. This is the one that was done in '09. See here, Grove of the Celtic Shaman revised 7/19 of '09. Guess I need to be over on that screen, don't I? But yeah, see right here, GCS revised 7/19/09. That's when this file, this tradition was written. So we're up on the 10 year of the tradition. And see, here's the thing. All of us have read this thing. Many of us have moved around. We've moved past some of the things and forgotten a lot of things in the tradition that we should familiarize ourselves and remind ourselves of as we go along. Download it and open it in PDF and make sure your file matches the file I've got. Should be uh, should be 21 pages. So what do we do? What is so important about a master? Everyone needs someone to look up to. Myself, as a master, I have friends and family. I have fellow shamans in the uh, shamanic world that I look up to, that I communicate with. I ask questions of. I say, you know, what are your thoughts? What are your opinions of this, that, and the other? And how do you feel about this, that, and the other? And I take those opinions and thoughts to heart. I meditate on them, and I form my own opinion from there, as I would hope the rest of you do as well. But as a master of the Grove, first years that are coming in that are thinking about joining the Grove, they're looking to us and the congruency of our words. They're looking to us for examples so we can set examples for them. Are we human? Absolutely. Do we recognize that you're human? Hell yeah. Do we expect you to make mistakes? Yeah, we're going to. You are. First years are. Senior students, priest, high priest, masters, blah, de blah, de blah. There's not anything in the Grove of the Celtic Shaman that's above master. I think the only reason people look at me a little differently is I'm actually the founder of the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. Well, we're going to look up one of these days, and I'm not going to be here. I'm going to have moved on to my next task in my spiritual endeavor. And there's going to have to be somebody that's going to take my place. Cindy right now is the ranking shaman. Then behind her, but not necessarily under her, but behind her, is Clint. And then we've got a couple of people that are looking at masters afterwards. I've got to communicate with the masters of the Grove. We've got to have a meeting about it and see what's going on. Now, I do want to kind of leave it at that. We we don't really want to beat the whole tradition into the ground. It is going to look at an update over the next little bit. We will we will organize and come into a tradition upgrade, mild rewrite, but tradition upgrade nonetheless. And this is going to require input here. We will do it live. Um, it may take an hour or two, but we will do it live so people can interact and live interact as they need to. So it'll be live streaming the tradition upgrade. But I've got to have some time to go through it. I need Cindy, Clint, Lucy, Sabrina, Michelle, and a few others to go through the tradition and get their ideas together. We're a small grove. We're not interested in being really, really, really big. Been there, done that. That was a pain in the ass. So what I want to do at this point, I want to give you back your Sunday. I want to give you back some of your time. And I'm going to bid you farewell. Read the tradition. Join the Grove or the open site. Interact. Ask questions. Hell, it's the only way you learn. We don't do a whole lot of chatting on that site, but we are really quick to answer questions. I want to bid you a great day. Thank you for watching Live with Shaman, and we'll see you next week here, hopefully with a mind-boggling topic. Thanks again for watching. Click like, click dislike. But if you click dislike, tell us why. Have a great day.